Okay, for my next virtual lab review, I'm actually going to be looking at Stellarium Web. This is a little bit less of a lab and more of a resource to use for astronomy. I know one of my challenges has been trying to teach astronomy during the daytime, and then now trying to teach astronomy during the daytime from a distance environment. And resources like this are great. I can't go to a planetarium all the time, and this is probably the best one out there. And so what it does is it gives you a perspective from where you are. You can go to different locations, but I'll work from where I am. And here we are looking north from our current location at our current top, which is great. We can go to different times and move that stuff around if we want to. But for now, let's go ahead. It's a little hard to see here, so we can actually add a whole variety of different landscapes and aspects to it. So we'll start by just adding the constellations. So here you can actually see the constellations in the sky. So you see we're looking straight at Ursa Minor here and the North Star Polaris. And if we click on it, it gives us nice information, how far away it is, where it is in our coordinate system, and a variety of other factors. So that's really great stuff. We can go off to other stars like Vega, nice bright star over here, and it gives you a full Wikipedia article that it links to beyond just looking at Vega. So there's a lot to be said for this as a tutorial and a way to kind of introduce different aspects of the sky. They're also one of the big components of what I end up teaching is how to find objects, and there are two different grids here. It provides what's called an alt-azimuth grid here, where the zenith from your current location is useful. So you talk about how high up an object is and where it is along, how high up it is its altitude, and where it is from off of north is its azimuth, and we can talk about that. With that grid, when we use more modern astronomers will use, instead of an altitude azimuth grid, like here it tells you what Vega's altitude and azimuth is at a current location. When we want to talk to astronomers in different locations, we go to an equatorial grid. We'll take off the altitude azimuth here, which uses the North Pole and uses the celestial sphere from there. So it's something we can use regardless of where we are. And both of these grids are good, and this is actually a nice way because it superimposes it on the sky, and as we move around, we can see how these different grids interact and change based on where we are. So I like that a lot for teaching the coordinate systems and talking to the students about finding objects and the location of them. Moving on, when we start talking about deep sky objects, it does have a whole deep sky object grid here, so you can turn on the deep sky objects and find them. Let's go ahead and just search for one. Most of them are nice Messier objects. We'll turn to one that's kind of close to the front here, or close to where we're already looking, but here is M101, and if we zoom in on it, we can actually see M101 is a nice beautiful spiral galaxy, or the pinwheel galaxy, and if we look off to the left here, it's got information on it. So I could have students research these objects, figure out how to find them, and learn more about them. So I'm excited about that as an opportunity and a way to teach going from here. You can also add a whole bunch of other stuff that maybe is a little less useful to me, but is nice as well. We can add the constellation art if we want to see it, so we can actually see the different constellations as they're supposed to appear in the sky. We can do a night mode. This gets me to a little bit of a different topic. So here we are in night mode, and it sets it up as red. What is really, really nice is not these desktop apps, but is actually apps that you can use on your phone. And I'm sure there's a really good one with Stellarium here where you actually track with your phone and you can look at different objects in the sky. I've tried over the last few weeks to do some digital astronomy where I'm meeting with my students via Zoom and using Stellarium or Sky Tracker or whatever it is as a way to actually track the sky has been really, really helpful. And so though this desktop app is good and would be good in the classroom, there's potential, and I'm learning more about this with this distance learning stuff, to say, all right, class, we're meeting at 9 o'clock. Everybody have your phone out, and we'll all use our phones to find these objects where I'm not there to point them out. And so I like the idea of a desktop app here, or a desktop lab, if you will, but I also really like the idea of having handheld ones that students can take out into the sky. So as far as worksheets and stuff, I think there would be a lot that one would have to put together to have these resources be really helpful. And it's not, a lab in the traditional sense where it walks you through everything. But this is a resource I'm certainly using and I very much like. So there we are. Stellarium.